Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Josh Shaw Football Show. You're watching Steve Major Sports on YouTube here in the field house at Cherokee High School. Welcome, Coach. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. We're going to pay our bills here a little bit if we can. I want to thank all of our sponsors. That's Kenton Tire and Wheel, Northside Orthopedic Surgeons, Dr. Rhodes and Dr. Simmons, Georgia Physical Therapy, that's Chad Luth, Monty Spears, Open Roads RV, Drew Tutton, Green Heating and Cooling, Jimmy Gibson, Mousetail Travels and Celebrated Vacations, Beth Dozier, the Wallace Financial Group, Philip Wallace, Greg Elwell Family Dentistry, Dr. Elwell and Dr. John Peacock, Daniel Lawson Pest Control, Clayton Feed Farm and Home Store, and also their child ministry, hacministry.com, and G-Rocks Photography. We're glad that you can join us for this special edition of the Josh Shaw Football Show on Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to everyone. Yep. Well, Coach, you guys had a great game the other night, and you beat Sequoia 14-0, but you got some players of the week who are well-deserving.
We do. It was a great win for our football program, and anytime you can, beat a crosstown rival, that is always awesome. So, and not to mention the first shutout in the series of the Cherokee Sequoia series. So, our offensive player of the week was Devin Ellison. Devin had 6 catches and a critical touchdown just before halftime with a minute left. Devin has grown so much as a player and a leader on our football team. Big things are in store for him. He also went out and played defense on Miles McGee for a considerable amount of time throughout the course of the game as well. So Devin played outstanding. Like I said, he's a tremendous player for us. Defensively, Patrick Dolan. Pat had 17 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a PBU. Missed out on a 3rd interception. It would have been a difficult one, but I know Pat was beating himself up about that one. But monster game out of Pat. He was also big on special teams for us as well. So, but the 2 picks, that gives him a total of 3 after 2 games. So he's picked right back where he left off last year. Special teams for us was our long snapper and short snapper, Jared Sperling. Sperling is a reserve linebacker for us, but he's also our long snapper. We just threw him in the other night for our short snaps, and he did a tremendous job as well. So he's our special teams player of the week. Scout team player of the week was Colt Childers, a sophomore offensive lineman for us. He's going to be a really good varsity player here in the near future as well. So and then defensively was Q Jennings, and Q is a move-in player that we got that just came in probably a couple of weeks ago. We're still waiting on transcripts and stuff before he can, before he'll be able to play in any games. But he brings it every single day in practice, and what a great kid just to have around the locker room too. So our whoop and stick winners, which goes to our best offensive and defensive linemen, Nason Simmons, who was a tight end a couple of weeks ago and moved into left tackle and did a tremendous job, graded out the highest on the offensive line, and he's been there about a week. So
that's amazing.
Did a great job, but Nason's got a big frame. He's a 6'5", 6'6" kid and about 250. So he's got that prototypical tackle size that you're looking for. Defensively was Hunter Penley, who has it back-to-back weeks. Hunter played awesome. His motor never stops, so and he makes a lot of big time effort plays. So he played really great. He's a defensive tackle for us. So, but anyways, that's our players of the week.
Well, congratulations to all those young men, and well deserved. You know what? At Skip Pope Stadium, it was just anticipation plus 10 or 20 because there was standing room only. Both bands were there. It was on both sides, standing room only. And it was the WSB's game of the week. WLJA was there to cover the game. The Cedarwood boys were there, Mickey and Vaughn. And, of course, Steve Major Sports, the call you play-by-play. And you know what? When you know all this is coming up, and, of course, congratulations to the Sequoia folks and to the Cherokee folks who voted to make it the game of the week for WSB. But when you go through a week like this, how do you calm your coaches? How do you calm your players with the anticipation of all the media and all the attention that you're getting?
To be quite honest with you, man, we really did not talk about it.
Good.
I mean, it wasn't anything we ever discussed during practice. Our kids didn't really discuss it. I don't think we figured out that we won the WSB TV game of the week until Thursday afternoon. And there was some buzz inside the school building with the students but we really didn't discuss it as a team or a staff, and there wasn't a lot of chatter amongst the kids. So I didn't want to bring it up and make it an issue if it wasn't something that they were already making an issue. So, and at the end of the day, you just talk about, hey, we got all eyes on us tonight, and you want to go out and have a great showing in front of everybody. So that was kind of the approach that we took.
Good. I got to ask you a question. Sequoia won the flip. They decided to take the ball. The last couple of games, you won the flip and you decided to take the ball. I noticed in college football, same thing. Is this something that's coming back where when you won the flip, you would go to defense first? But now, is there reversing, or is it just what you're feeling on your strategy?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is I talk with both of our coordinators ahead of time, and kind of we make a decision based on what we want to do first in that regards. The last 2 weeks, I wanted to defer and put our defense out there first, but the other opposing team won the toss the last 2 weeks. Now against Creekview, I took the ball first because I wanted to put the ball in our offense's hands and see how they responded. So, but it's really just a gut feeling on how your week of preparation went and how you're feeling that night. Most of the time, I'd like to get the ball coming out of halftime, because what you try to do is you hopefully end the ball in the half with a possession, and then you turn around and get the ball back with a for a possession. So it was critical the other night. We scored a touchdown. We gave it to them for under a minute, but then we turned right back around after halftime, got the ball right back.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, on the kickoff, you was able to hold them, and of course then you couldn't move the ball. But on their second possession, they had Mitchell for 12, McGee passing reception for big yardage, and wide receiver Aiden Moore down for a 10-yard gain just inside. Actually inside. But then your defense stiffens, a run for short yardage, a blitz, and a big sack by Brayson Parker. And he was big pretty much all the entire night. And that moved it back to the 30-yard line, and they attempted field goal, was far short.
Yeah, I mean, they gashed us on a few plays early. We missed out on a couple of assignments. They ran power, and we didn't spill it, what we call, with our outside backer, and they were able to gash us for a few plays and get the ball in. But then on the third down, Brayson came clean and kind of wrestled with him after about 10 yards, and then he kind of escaped, and Brayson stayed after it, ended up sacking him for probably a 17-yard loss. So really took him out of, it made that field goal a lot further, and definitely took him away from going for it on fourth down offensively. So it was a huge play by Brayson on a pass play, and he was what we call our run-through backer right there. And so made a big play and ended up taking him out of the range.
Okay. Then when you get the ball, you have a 1 yard gain by Adams Jr., Swan to Horshaw for a first down, 2 incompletions, and a pass interference on the Chiefs, and it's 1st and 10 from the Cherokee High 45-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, we were off just a click here in the first half, considerably. Missed a couple of open guys, missed a couple of open throws, and took a little bit of time for us to establish the run game, but we're able to get AJ tried a deep pass play to Darius and ended up getting pass interference on it, which extended the drive.
I saw Coach Pierce just before he started the show, when it was a game in which he could actually, once he got established with the run, open up the offense, go pass or defense, or run. And on the very next play, it's 1st and 10. You got Keith Adams Jr. bucks for a 14-yard gain. Big opening there.
Yeah, and this was the first game this season. Keith had over 100 yards, had 17 carries for 100 yards exactly and a touchdown. And he's just such a physical runner, man. Yeah. I mean, you're going to get tired of hitting him at some point, and he's that type of back. So, which is really, I don't want to say crazy, but to remember that he's only a 10th grader. But he's a punishing back, and at some point, linebackers and DBs get tired of hitting him. Right. So it's only a matter of time before he starts squirting through.
Yeah. So you're now at the 42-yard line of Sequoia. It's a 2 yards by Harshaw, a flea flicker or Urgel to Ellison. Which sort of didn't go so well.
Yeah, no, it was actually a throwback to AJ, the quarterback, and they covered it.
Yeah.
So we ended up not being able to run it effectively. Sequoia did a great job sniffing it out. So it was a one trick play we had in our bag of tricks. It worked every time in practice, but we go and run it in the game, and they did a great job picking up and covering it.
So now it's 2nd and 20 on the 50-yard line. Then a center screen to Adams for 24 yards and great blocks by T.J. Parks. And that ends up the first quarter.
Yeah, I believe what ended up happening too before that screen pass to Keith, we got a couple of holding calls in there, so it ended up being about 3rd and 40.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
So, which offensively, there's not a lot of plays in our playbook for 3rd and 40. So, but anyways, we throw a screen pass to Keith, and he gained back a tremendous amount of yardage before we had to punt.
Yeah. So then we're starting the fourth quarter, and you have to punt the ball away. And the ball goes back and forth during the second quarter. How late in the half you're on your own 35-yard line and you begin a drive. All 3 of your timeouts in your pocket, which is a good feeling. And then you got Swan to Ellison for 3 yards, Adams Jr. for 1. Then 3rd and 6, Swan to Ergel across the middle on an unbelievable catch in a lot of traffic.
Yeah, that was our Y cross right there, and Landon does a tremendous job, and he gets hit right when he catches it. So AJ put the ball in the money, and Landon made a big-time grab on a 3rd down, which extended the drive.
Right. So now you got a 1st and 10 on the 48-yard line. You got Adams Jr. off left tackle for 5. 2nd and 5, Swan to Harshaw for 5, and another 1st down.
Yeah, once again, we're keeping the chains rolling, so that's what you want to do. And when you play Sequoia in their wing T offense, you're going to have limited possessions. Yeah. I think we only had 4 offensive possessions in the first half alone, and then I think we had 5 in the second half. Which is usually not normal. Most of the time, you're getting maybe 5 to 7. And we were not even getting to 5 possessions in the first half. So that going in, that you're just not going to have the ball very many times, so you have to take advantage of the times that you do have it offensively.
So now you're on the Sequoia 40-yard line, and at this point I think Coach Pierce is feeling pretty good. He could go run, he could go pass. He's got a lot of options with the talented players that he has on the offensive side of the ball. You have a new set of downs at 1:43 left in the half. There was a check down pass to Keith Adams Jr. for 7 yards.
Yep.
It looked like Swan was going to be sacked for sure.
What a play.
And it was a fantastic play. And also credit for Swan for keeping his head open downfield and hitting Adams.
I have still, after watching it on film over and over, have no idea how AJ, once again, too, you lose fact of the matter that AJ's a 10th grader, too. But AJ was wrapped up and about to go down getting sacked, and Keith is waving his arms amongst our O-line, and as AJ's falling down, just throws it to Keith, and Keith was able to take, what could have been a 7-yard loss turned into a 7-yard gain, and just a heads-up play. And that's the thing that's special about those two 10th graders, and they're just out there. It's like they're just playing backyard football, so but what a tremendous play. And we talked about it yesterday in our staff meeting. I'm like, man, I have no idea how AJ even saw Keith.
Yeah, then it's 1st down, I think it was, and then you got a pass interference call against Sequoia, and it's 1:27. You're all knocking on the door at the 20-yard line. You're in the red zone.
Yeah, we are, and that had been the first time we'd been inside the 20 all day, or up to that point. So at this point we're thinking definitely want to get 7 points instead of 3.
Right. So it's Swan to Ellison for 5 yards to the 15-yard line. And then Swan to Ellison deep in the left-hand corner of the left end zone for a touchdown. A great pass and a fantastic catch. My biggest concern, and I had people standing up down there in that corner there, I couldn't see whether he was out of bounds or not because I knew it might have been pretty close.
Yeah, he got a foot in, probably about a yard in. Be honest with you, when it was thrown, I had to look twice too to make sure, but after you go back and you watch it on film, you realize he did a great job getting a foot down. But it was trips to the boundary, and we just ran a little slip screen, and their corner and safety jumped the screen, and Devin released. He was the slot receiver and just released. So it's something every team runs, and if you get some over aggressive defensive backs, and of course Sequoia has Miles McGee. He's one of the best around, and he bit on the screen, and Devin was able to get behind, and we were able to get a touchdown on the board.
Of course, now you convert on the extra point. It's 7-0, and then that's how it is. It's you had a 7-play, 65-yard drive from your own 35, and you had to be very satisfied with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Last week it was a tale of big plays against North Forsyth. Every one of our touchdowns came on really big plays. And, so it's nice to be able for our offense to be able to put together and establish a drive.
Right. Well, we're at halftime, and Cherokee's going into the locker room up 7-0 after that great pass and catch from Swan to Ellison. And the Jai Shaw Football Show is brought to you by Kenton Tire and Wheel, Northside Orthopedic Surgeons, Georgia Physical Therapy, Open Roads RV, Green Heating and Cooling, Mousetail Travels and Celebrated Vacations, the Wallace Financial Group, Greg Elwell Family Dentistry, Daniel and Lawson Pest Control, Clayton Feed Farm and Home Store and their children's ministry, hacministry.com, and G-Rocks Photography. So you start the third quarter, they kick off you. The ball goes in the end zone. Boy, he has a thunderous leg, doesn't he?
Yeah, they do. Their kicker does a great job. We knew that going in. We probably weren't going to get a shot to return it.
So you're at the 20. Then Adams Jr. slashes over right side for 12 yards. It's 1st and 10 on the 32-yard line. Incompletion and a sack has you punting. Balker's punt was actually blocked, partially blocked, and so that's going to set Sequoia up in good field position inside your 50-yard line.
Yeah, we were punting after the sack. We went back, when we were punting from about our 10-yard line. So, and they got some pressure on us, and it was Balker's shortest punt of the night. So, but they gained, got the ball in plus territory. So, that's a sudden change for us defensively, and had to go out and really play good defense.
But after that partially blocked pass, now they go incompletion, and then a big a fumble recovery by Brandon Birds comes out of the pile with the ball.
Yeah, they ended up fumbling on an exchange at their mesh, and ball fell on the ground, and Bird was right there, heads up, to be able to recover it. One of our first of our 4 turnovers for the night.
Yeah. So then you get Adams Jr. for 1 yard, Adams Jr. off tackle for 9 yards, and then a new set of downs. It's 1st and 10 from the Sequoia 40-yard line. Adams Jr. for another 10 yards, so that's 3 in a row that Coach Pierce felt very good about. That offensive line is blocking, they're making holes, and so you get another 1st down. It's 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line.
Yeah, and then I think we followed it up with a sack after that.
There's a 3-yard gains or pass, Swan to Ellison, and then a sack.
Yep. So we're moving the ball again. We're kind of mixing it up between the run and the pass. But then we ended up getting sacked. We got sacked a couple more times than we really wanted to, obviously. I mean, no one wants to get sacked, but had a couple of breakdowns, coachable moments for us up front, and it kind of took us out of field goal range right there.
Yeah, and then Brady comes in and he gets a good punt. You get great coverage downfield, and you're down at the 5-yard line. So you got Sequoia facing their end zone with their back.
Yeah, that's the second week in a row we've had teams pinned inside the 5-yard line. So did it twice against North Forsyth. So at the end of the day, I don't care. Anytime you pin them back inside the 5, it doesn't matter about how the punt looked when it got there.
Just do it.
As long as it gets there and we down it. So
yeah. Okay, the Chiefs begin to drive from their 5, and with the help of pass interference call on Cherokee, in Cherokee territory, a huge 3rd and down and 6. Colin Kaprowski trips, and he sets it up. It's 4th and 10 now as they were moving the ball.
Yep.
He was coming out from under center. I don't know. It was 3rd and long, I think. It's probably going to be a pass play.
It was a pass play,
Yeah. And he just happened to trip, and then it's 4th and 10, and they call a timeout. And I said, this may be a fake, and indeed it was. But you know what? Dahlin and Hedrick were there to stop it.
Yeah, it was. So they had moved the ball into plus territory, and they were going to run a flood route, sprinting out. And I think their quarterback started to run before he had the snap, kind of tripped himself up. And downs the ball, and we were thinking the same thing. We actually ran punt safe and kept our defense out there. And Pat makes a great play tackling the guy on the fake. So. Good heads-up play by him, but yeah, we were kind of anticipating they're at the plus 40, and we were kind of worried about a punt fake to start with. So,
right. It's a good heads-up. Then you get the ball, and it's 2nd and 10, and number 44, Damian Alessandro, makes an unbelievable play as you're doing a little flip pass off to the left side. I don't know if it hit a receiver and then it went into his hands.
Yeah, it went off Keith's hands. So
okay.
We did, and let me tell you what, if we catch that, and Keith will catch that 9 out of 10 times, but it slipped off his hands. It was a tremendous play by their defensive end. As soon as he kind of saw Keith slipping out, he turned and ran with him. The ball went off of Keith's hands, and the DN was sitting right there to pick it off. So kind of a fluke thing, but Brady Bacher had a great crack block, and had Keith got that, it could have been off to the races. But that just shows you the fine line, between making a play and not making a play, and those are the times. And we'll make, like I said, Keith catches that pass 9 out of 10 times.
And they didn't waste time, because I think it was on the 30-yard line, 1st and 10, Kabrowski goes back to pass, and he's looking in the end zone, and Riley Lyons makes a great interception.
Yep, we called timeout, or one of us, I think they called timeout, and told Riley and said, listen, they're going to probably take a shot here. And certainly they did. I mean, they went for the end zone, threw a fade to Miles McGee, and that was about as picture perfect of corner play that you could actually do. I mean, Riley he was in phase, he was hip to hip, went up and got the ball in the end zone at the highest point. He's a basketball player too, so he's used to jumping.
Right.
And so, but he made a great play, and it's been really fun to watch him. He's new to corner, never even played it before this summer, and so to really see him grow and progress each week has been awesome.
Yeah. So then you get the ball in your drive stalls. You're needing some really big help on really getting a great punt, and you got it. Brady Bacher just kicked a 50-yard punt, went over the returner's head, and you guys were able to down the ball. It was a fantastic punt.
Yeah, that was his farthest one of the night for sure, and it was a big time, big momentum change. Not only that, but big field position change as well.
Yeah, so now it was down at the 25-yard line. They moved the ball. They're at the 44-yard line, and they get a personal foul, which moves the ball back to the Sequoia 35-yard line. 3rd and 19, back to pass, and he hits Miles McGee, but a beautiful interception by Patrick Dolan stops their drive. Yeah,
it was a great play. They ran a little 2-post backside, and Pat was midpoint in both of them, and they threw it to the underneath guy, and Pat made a tremendous play on the football.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's Kabrowski. It was Colin Kabrowski that tried that pass. I would say you begin your series, Keith Adams Jr. getting 2 runs for a total of 8 yards, Swan to Ellison for a first down, and a Sequoia High School personal foul tacked on, puts the ball at the 31-yard line. A Swan to Ellison pass for 7 at the 24-yard line, and Keith Adams' number is called. Keith hits it off left tackle, and he takes it to the house for 24 yards.
Yeah, it was a great cutback run by Keith, and he found a little sliver of a hole, and offensive line did a great job there. And, once you get Keith into the secondary, so he smells the end zone, he's going to be gone. So, but that was a big-time touchdown for us. Because that put us up 2 touchdowns with about 4 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, 4:08 exactly. So then they come out, and it's a 32 from the 32, pass incompletion, a new set of downs. 3rd and 10, a huge play, a pass from Kabrowski to Miles McGee for 41 yards. That flipped the field on you guys, and now they're knocking on your territory.
Yeah, the pass actually hit Brandon Bird in the hands too, and then slipped up, and then. That was the previous play. They threw a pass, hit Brandon Bird, had a chance at the pick, and it slipped through his hand. The receiver caught it, and then they turned around and hit Miles for the 41-yard gain. Great play by A.J. Perales on the 41-yard gain, because Miles McGee may have been the fastest guy on the field. He's a heavily recruited prospect and one of the best in the county. So, but A.J. had an angle on him, was able to tackle him and keep him out of the end zone. But it definitely changed field position now, and now they're back in scoring inside the red zone again.
Yeah, from my perspective, I thought he was going to take it to the house, but you're right, and a great job by Perales, who had a really good game himself.
Yes.
Okay, so now they're down, and they're really striking distance, as you said, and then Kabrowski's back to pass, and again, interception in the end zone by Patrick Dolan.
Yeah, and what you don't see is the first 3 plays before that. Yeah. We were double covering Miles McGee, and Colin Kabrowski looked for him on 2 other times, but we had a double coverage with A.J. Perales underneath, and then Devin Ellison covering him over the top, and kind of took him. We thought that's where they were going, and then we get some pressure on him on the 4th down play, and he throws it to the back of the end zone where Pat Dolan was able to to pick it off there and kind of sealed it for us.
Right, and then you guys, I don't know if Sequoia had another timeout left or not, but anyway, he was able to run the clock out and come away with a fantastic victory over Skip Pope Stadium.
That's our first shutout since 2014 when we beat Walton here 30-0. So 5 years.
Wow.
So those shutouts are hard to come by for the Cherokee Warriors.
Well, anyway, congratulations to you and your coaching staff and all of your players. Okay, so now we got North Hall coming in. Coach Bishop's another wing T offense. So you go back to back. What do you see? How much different are they from what you saw and had a defense against Sequoia, what you're going to have to face this Friday night?
Well, and they are wing T, but they do it a little bit differently. Sequoia splits were kind of foot to foot and really close and tight, and where North Hall does a good job of kind of spreading you out. Their splits on their O-line is a little bit wider. They use a little bit more multi-wide receiver packages with their wing T, a little bit more of the traditional. They're a big trap team. Where Sequoia only ran the trap a small, 2 or 3 times. You're going to see it a tremendous amount from North Hall. They average about 300 to 350 yards a game passing so far in their first 2 games. They beat Chestatee handedly in the first game, and then beat Jackson County 14-0, I think it was, this past game. So, obviously we went up there last year and came back with a loss. And gave up some big plays last year, so we're going to have to tighten the ship a little bit this year. So it is good that we were able to go out and play well against Sequoia, facing a similar offense, and then at least we get it back to back. So we kind of get them out of the way, and then we get back into the spread teams on the rest of our schedule. So, but we're going to have to play well. Number 5, I think it's TJ Fair, or JT Fair, I'm sorry, and he was a good player on their team last year, but he's their lead dog on both defense and offense. He plays in the secondary, and he's also a running back or a wing back for them. So he'll be the best player they have. They're going to be very, very well coached.
Okay, so now as your offense gets ready this week, what do you see on the defense that they're going to try to?
They're a 4-2-5 defense, so it's very similar to what we've seen the last 3 weeks. That's what we're facing. It's a 4-man front, so it should be a lot of familiarity with Coach Pierce and our offensive staff, and with Swan and Keith and up front. So once again, we're facing the same thing. So it really just comes down to now we gotta be able to execute. And so we're not far off, man. In 2 games, we've missed probably 3 or 4 touchdowns we left on the board. And as the season progresses, our young pups on that side of the ball are going to get a lot better, and we're going to be able to execute on those.
Okay. Last words from you. As you looked at the ball game Friday night, what do you take away? I know your offense, defense, really good. Special teams, what do you feel about that?
Well, I think just the fact that we improved a lot from the week before, and maybe we didn't score as many points offensively, but Sequoia, a lot of that had to do with what Sequoia was doing defensively, and they were doing a good job. But I think the fact that we were able to put together a couple of drives and establish a drive where the week before we were all big plays, and one play we would score. And so, that's going to come a long way, because at the end of the day, in our region, you've got to establish drives and be able to eat some clock, and then so we're not far off. We missed on a couple of pass plays that could have extended put some more points on the board, and I know we'll get better at that. Starting 5 sophomores on that side of the ball. Those kids continue to get better week in and week out. And I think defensively, man, I'm really excited about how those guys are playing. There's just a different sense. We lost some really big time playmakers due to graduation. And, haven't replaced those guys, but the way that our kids are playing together as a team on that side of the ball, and they're taking it personal, and they're passionate and relentless when they get there. Just the physicality of which we're playing defense right now. And schematically, it's been a long time since we've had 11 players doing exactly what their responsibility is schematically and being unselfish. Ty Swanson, for example, who's played a tremendous game the other night, he was spilling some blocks so Patrick Dolan could be the unblocked guy and make tackles. That doesn't show up on a stat sheet for Ty, but he was being extremely unselfish. He could have tried to make the tackle himself, but then it goes away from what we're doing schematically. So, just very unselfish play by our D-line. and some of our linebackers in regards to that, so other guys can make the tackle. But really excited with where we're at right now as a team, and just our attitude and the effort. And today's Labor Day, we came in and put in some work this morning.
Good. Coach, I want to thank you for your time, and congratulations to you and your staff and your players on a great win on Friday night. I do want to say this to all of our viewers. I understand my link, SteveMajorSports.com/live, is having a little problem, so I would recommend you go to Google Steve Major Sports on YouTube, and I think you're going to be able to get onto it and a lot faster and a lot better. And I want to thank you for watching. And this Josh Shaw Football Show has been brought to you by Kenton Tire and Wheel, Northside Orthopedic Surgeons, Georgia Physical Therapy, Open Roads RV, Green Heating and Cooling Incorporated, Mouse Tales Travels and Celebrated Vacations, the Wallace Financial Group, Greg Elwell Family Dentistry, Daniel Lawson Pest Control, Clayton Feed Fireman Home Store, and their children's ministry, HACministry.com, and G-Rocks Photography. Don't forget Lady Warrior Softball over at Sequoia on Wednesday night at 5:30. I'll be there. Cherokee Warrior Football here at Cherokee High School. I'm Tommy Baker Field, 7:30. Get on over here, support them. And if you can't, you can watch it on Steve Major Sports on YouTube. Hope you have a great Labor Day. Thank you for watching. Goodbye from Cherokee High School.